AI is here. OpenClaw moment started a month earlier and it's already acquired by $1 billion by OpenAI. Anthropic has become the fastest growing company in the history. If you are not paying attention to this, then you will be left behind. That being said, I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm here to try and prepare you for the big shift that's happening in the job market. So that's why in this video, I'm going to share some actionable ways to utilize your existing experience with GenAI because that's how you get ahead of others and get attention from recruiters and impress the interviewers. I'll also show you how to safeguard your role because I think that's important as well. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Raj. I have personally switched my career from legacy mainframe to cloud. I broke into big tech, which is AWS. I became a principal solutions architect there. But more importantly, I have helped many of my students switch their career to cloud and GenAI. With that being said, let's get started. So one popular question and interview and work is, how are you using GenAI? And some answers I hear are, I'm using Claude Code all the time, I use Codex to write code, I use Gemini to summarize email, I use ChatGPT to create PowerPoint presentations, etc. Why are these answers average? Well, first of all, everyone says this stuff, but more importantly, these answers does not connect your existing experience or knowledge to your GenAI learning. You need to showcase how you use your judgment to drive AI because tools will change, how you derive insights will not. If we take an actual question, let's say you come from a developer background and you have been asked this question, you can start by saying, hey, Mr. Interviewer, I've been using Claude Code a lot to develop new features for my company's product. But then you add, but I don't trust the output blindly. I always bring in my existing experience and knowledge to validate and direct the GenAI. Because GenAI is non-deterministic, so similar prompt can generate different codes different time. And let me give you a concrete example. In my project, we have many DynamoDB tables and we have many global secondary indexes. Often, when I prompt the Claude to enhance some code, it does not take those indexes into consideration and it will generate code using table scan, which is inefficient, slow, and expensive. So then I explicitly tell the AI agent to use specific fields and use a query, not the scan. Another example is often it generates additional if-else logic that can be simplified. So sometimes it has the tendency to generate extra code that's not needed. So then you end it with, so this is how I mitigate this. After coding for a while on a project, some pattern emerges, such as it needs to be using global secondary indexes, some stuff should be done a certain way, and I use those knowledge to create a checklist to validate the output of the GenAI as well as direct it. I write all these checklists in a markdown file and I use that in the input prompt. See how I elevated the answer from, hey, I just use Claude to develop new features very fast, to I use GenAI, but I'm also mixing in my judgment and my experience to have a better quality output. I'm going to give you a few more examples. And before I do that, it's helpful to see how certain people get ahead on a new technology. I'm sure you have friends or you have seen someone who is in a legacy technology and they were able to switch their career to the cloud. And I bet you are seeing the same thing with GenAI. Someone was on a worse project than you, or someone was a legacy technology project, but they're getting these GenAI jobs. How? This is why. And this is the same reason why me and my students were able to switch our careers from legacy and got ahead in the cloud. These are all the other folks, the masses, who are learning effective topics. First of all, you have to learn the actual topics that are important, right? But that's not enough. If you bring in your existing experience and connect it to your learning and you showcase it, that's how you get the cloud jobs. So let's say you come from storage background and you learned S3, RDS, DynamoDB, etc. They are okay, but let's say this guy also comes from storage background and learned those things and did a proof of concept on migrating a data from MySQL in on-prem to RDS MySQL. Then he showcased when to mix and match DynamoDB to save cost. So obviously, any recruiter or interviewer will always prefer this guy. That's why even when some people were QA or legacy technology, they go ahead. Same thing you need to do with GenAI. Of course, you need to learn effective topics, but you always need to connect your existing experience. So, this is the important part. You need to showcase that you added your own judgment and experience with GenAI and not just trusted it 100% blindly. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at another example. Let's say for DevOps engineer or folks who do a lot of infrastructure as code and CI/CD pipelines, same thing. If you have been asked, you could say, I have been using Claude Code or ChatGPT to create CloudFormation, but then you need to add the same thing. However, I drive it based on my experience and the knowledge. I'll give you a couple of examples. So this infrastructure as code don't always follow the security standards. Sometimes it generates a security group which is open to the internet. And because of the non-deterministic nature, sometimes the same prompt will generate the CloudFormation in JSON, other times in YAML. Similarly, if I am asking it to write a Jenkins file or a code build spec file for similar pipelines, it generates different ways, but we need to follow certain standards. So how I mitigate it is with Claude Code, I created a skills.markdown file which has all our organization's project standards codified, and anytime someone tries to create infrastructure as code, that skills file get injected into the prompt and that standards gets followed. And you could say something like, I carry over best practices that I have been doing in on-prem as well as the cloud, such as linting the file, running security scanning, such as CF and NAG, and I do that as well in the GenAI generated code. Let's take another example. This one is near and dear to my heart, which is solutions architect work, right? Again, the important part is you need to showcase your judgment and experience with GenAI. You can, of course, start with, yes, I'm extensively using GenAI for designing, creating proof of concepts, etc. However, couple things I want to point out, Mr. Interviewer, sometimes it hallucinates and gives me information which is wrong. So while doing system design, I always ask for official AWS links so I can go there and validate the system design. For example, sometimes it will put a diagram where it will say that SQS can call SNS, which is not true. The reverse is true. SNS can send messages to SQS, but SQS cannot. But it confidently gives me the wrong answer. So I ask for AWS official links for each design choices so I can go and validate it. Now, next two examples are related to designing agentic systems because that has been coming up a lot. So one thing you need to point out is everyone points out regular GenAI security, which is guardrails and policies. You also have to add, Mr. Interviewer, at the end of the day, GenAI system is also another cloud application running. So we cannot forget about the other design best practices that I need to implement, such as authentication authorization, data at rest encryption, data in transit encryption, monitoring, etc. Another point you can showcase is when asked about GenAI that, hey, GenAI can be very expensive and I have actually faced this problem and this is how I solved it. Instead of using OpenSearch as a vector database, which is very expensive, I switched to S3 as vector database. Even though Opus 4.6 is the most cutting edge, but I don't need to use that model everywhere, right? So I always evaluate if a cheaper model is sufficient for my use case, and I use that where applicable. And then GenAI models charge you based on the amount of tokens that has been used. So I always optimize the prompt using context engineering. So study the basic of context engineering. Another one that's helpful is instead of giving one task at a time in a long-running context, I have found out that if I give all the tasks in the beginning prompt as a listicle, it burns less tokens. So see, hopefully now it's clicking, right? Tom, Dick, and Harry are just giving generic answers. I've been using GenAI, I prompted it to create a system design, I use this agent to do weather, da 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 da. And then you come in and you showcase your experience, you are not just using GenAI blindly, but you also know how to validate it, how to drive it, you know the loopholes and how to mitigate them, of course, interviewer's gonna pick you. So this is your homework. Think about all the areas you have been using GenAI, where you have existing knowledge on, and then list them and practice them so when you talk to recruiter or interviewer, they come out.